I think when I sit with it for a second here, I just want people to know that I'm a real person.
It was through scholarships, financial aid programs, and work study where my earnings from a job on campus went
as a role model. And I think it's a missed opportunity if I'm not doing something to show them how you want to move in the world.
What if the fairy tale story you've been told about Meghan Markle isn't the whole truth? Rumors have been swirling for years about a chapter in her past that allegedly involves Vegas chapels, sealed documents, and a missing year that nobody can explain. Some whispers even suggest she might already be a grandmother. Not in the future, but right now. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but the allegations floating around social media are wild enough to make anyone question.
Came direct from Meghan's ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, via an intermediary. And
what we really know about the Duchess of Sussex past. Before we dive in, smash like if you want to hear these wild rumors, hit subscribe for more royal drama, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest gossip. Let's rewind to the beginning before Meghan became a household name, before she wore that tiara, before the world knew her as anything more than Rachel from Suits. There was a man who saw the real Meghan Markle, not the polished version the public fell in love with.
Prince Harry flaunts his family wealth in a latest cringeworthy bid to overshadow.
His name is Trevor Engelson, and he's been carrying secrets that allegedly could rewrite everything we think we know about the Duchess. Trevor wasn't just any boyfriend. He was Meghan's first husband, a successful Hollywood producer who dated her for 7 years before they tied the knot in that Jamaica beach wedding. But here's where the story gets interesting. Their marriage didn't just end. It imploded in a way that left Trevor completely blindsided.
Why was Prince Harry so easily seduced by Meghan Markle? Because
we're talking about a relationship that ended so abruptly that Meghan allegedly mailed her engagement and wedding rings back to him, like returning a broken appliance. Now, Trevor could have easily cashed in on his connection to royalty. Publishers have reportedly thrown massive offers at him. Tabloids have begged for interviews, and every media outlet wanted his side of the story. But Trevor chose silence. Complete, total silence. And that silence, it's deafening.
Royalty, before the Netflix deals and global headlines, Meghan Markle was just another actress grinding in Los Angeles, trying to land roles.
Because according to whispers from people in their inner circle, Trevor's silence isn't about taking the high road. Sources suggest he's been sitting on information that came to him through mutual friends, information about chapters in Meghan's life that happened long before they ever met. We're talking about allegations that would make the Oprah interview look like small talk. The most telling detail? Trevor has reportedly told close friends that Meghan's carefully constructed timeline doesn't match what he discovered during their relationship.
Exclusive. Meghan's ex-husband tells all in highly anticipated tell-all book, in a move that is sure to
And now, years later, that information is allegedly starting to surface through intermediaries, people who can't keep quiet about what they know anymore. But what could be so damaging that a man would turn down millions to keep it buried? We need to travel back in time to when Meghan Markle was just Rachel, an 18-year-old from Los Angeles with big dreams and, according to persistent online rumors, some very adult decisions ahead of her. While most people her age were worried about college applications and part-time jobs,
Trevor, who had remained in the shadows for nearly a decade, realized he had been recast in her story, not just erased.
Whispers suggest Meghan was making choices that would allegedly haunt her decades later. Picture this scenario that conspiracy theorists have been discussing for years. A young woman, barely out of high school, finds herself in Sin City. Not the glamorous Vegas you see in movies with celebrity weddings and million-dollar receptions, but the real Vegas. The side of town where small chapels operate 24/7. where you can get married with minimal paperwork, and where questions aren't typically asked about why someone so young.
He wrote, to the producers, bemusement, Meghan was keen to set up her permanent home in Toronto rather than commute like all the other actors.
Might be in such a hurry to say I do. The man at the center of these allegations is Joe Giuliano, and according to the rumor mill, this wasn't some spontaneous, alcohol-fueled Vegas mistake. Online speculators claim there were family members present as witnesses, suggesting this was a planned event rather than an impulsive decision. But here's where the story takes an interesting legal turn that has conspiracy theorists absolutely fascinated. Instead of ending in a typical divorce that would leave public records,
word has it that ambitious Meghan Markle is desperately scheming for yet another major televised interview. This time with the legend.
This alleged marriage reportedly concluded with something much more unusual, an annulment. For those who don't speak legal language, an annulment is basically the court system's way of saying this marriage never legally existed. It's like hitting the delete button on what happened. And in Nevada, these types of legal documents can vanish from public view with the right paperwork and legal representation. What's got people really talking is the alleged involvement of the Giuliano family in making this whole situation disappear.
At the time, Meghan was an aspiring actress just starting out in Hollywood while I was still a newcomer in the comedy world. We met at a mutual friend's.
Rumors suggest they had both the resources and motivation to ensure any trace of this Vegas chapter got buried permanently. We're talking about sealed court files, missing documentation, and a paper trail that allegedly leads nowhere. The most suspicious part? The complete radio silence from this entire period of Meghan's life. No photos surfacing online, no former friends sharing memories, no documentation that researchers can dig up. It's like someone took great care to scrub this time frame clean. And when something is that thoroughly erased,
well, I mean, it's very, very odd, because there's such a mess going on around them.
People start asking what was worth hiding so completely. But the Vegas chapel story is just the beginning of what these online investigators claim they've uncovered. Now, we come to what might be the most puzzling part of Meghan's entire timeline, a year that officially doesn't exist in any meaningful way. According to her public biography, after finishing high school in 1999, Meghan allegedly took what she called a gap year before starting at Northwestern University. Sounds perfectly normal, right?
Meghan Markle petrified ex-husband Trevor Engelson. Will pen explosive book Meghan Markle was married.
Lots of students take time off to travel, work, or figure out their next steps. But here's where things get really curious for the people who've been researching this story online. The official narrative says Meghan spent this time traveling the world, finding herself, experiencing different cultures, all those inspiring gap year activities that look great on college applications and sound impressive in interviews years later. It's the kind of story that fits perfectly with her later image as a worldly, sophisticated actress.
Was it for a specific interview, or was it... That's a good question. The clip they showed was me talking to...
Except there's one puzzling detail that online researchers have been discussing for years. There's remarkably little evidence any of this world traveling actually happened. We're talking about a notable information gap. No photos have ever surfaced from this alleged international adventure. No study abroad paperwork has been found. No exchange program records. No travel documentation that anyone can locate. In an age where people document everything, especially young people on their first big solo trips.
Well, Meghan Markle has opened up about Prince Harry's new life in LA, joining Ellen DeGeneres for her first interview since...
This absence has raised questions. Some online researchers have done what they call timeline investigation, trying to piece together where Meghan actually was during this period. And according to these internet sleuths, if you look at alternative sources, specifically those connected to the Giuliano family we mentioned earlier, they paint a very different picture about where Meghan was spending her gap year. The alternative story that's been circulating in certain online discussions suggests that instead of sipping coffee in European cafes or
personal news to change the narrative and reset her public image. He said she did it during their marriage too.
In probably
backpacking through exotic locations, Meghan was allegedly living much more quietly in Chicago, not in some glamorous downtown apartment or trendy neighborhood, but reportedly staying with the Giuliano family, keeping a low profile, staying out of the public eye. But why would an 18-year-old with alleged wanderlust suddenly choose to spend her gap year in the Midwest with people who weren't even her own family? What could have been happening during those months that required such privacy, such
the C-list cold back in Montecito, the self-styled Queen of California was battling an all-too-familiar problem.
careful management of her whereabouts? And why has this period remained so thoroughly undocumented when literally every other phase of her life has been photographed, interviewed, and analyzed? The online community investigating these claims suggests that mid-1995 through 1996 represents the most carefully managed period in Meghan's entire public timeline. And according to their research, what allegedly happened during those quiet months,
Meghan Markle is reportedly seething after her bestie, Marcus Anderson, ghosted her latest Netflix venture with Love Meghan.
would explain everything else that people have been questioning about her past. And here's where the online speculation takes a turn that has internet researchers particularly fascinated. We're still talking about that same puzzling gap year period. But according to the rumor mill, something much more life-changing than just living quietly in Chicago allegedly happened during those undocumented months. We're talking about claims that have been circulating in certain online communities for years.
Isn't it intriguing that while Meghan has forced Prince Harry to cut out everyone from his pre-Markled life,
Allegations so significant, they would completely reshape everything we think we know about Meghan's timeline. According to these persistent internet discussions, mid-1995 wasn't just about Meghan keeping a low profile or staying out of the public eye. Online theorists suggest that during this period, Meghan allegedly experienced something that would alter her entire life path. The birth of a baby, not under the spotlight, not with announcements or celebrations, but reportedly in complete privacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful people of YouTube, it's your friendly neighborhood royal critic back with the tea. So
away from any media attention or public documentation. The theory that's been analyzed in these online forums suggests this wasn't just any temporary arrangement. According to the speculation, the Giuliano family allegedly didn't just provide Meghan with a place to stay during this time. They reportedly agreed to raise this child as part of their own family permanently. We're talking about what these researchers describe as a complete family integration, where the child would grow up with a different last name.
sue her. Seriously, just sue her. Think about this. Because her
Different official parents, and allegedly no public connection to Meghan whatsoever. One of the most memorable details that gets repeated in these online discussions is a quote that supposedly came from someone connected to the family situation. According to these internet theories, someone close to the arrangement once described the situation with a phrase that has resonated with online researchers. She was Meghan's before she was ours. It's the kind of statement that, if accurate,
disappearing friends from her circle. The debate spiraled, dividing not just fans, but the narrative of who Meghan truly was.
would suggest a very intentional transfer of parental responsibility. Now, the alleged child at the center of these rumors reportedly goes by the name Noel. And according to online photo analyses that internet theorists enjoy sharing, there are claimed physical similarities between this person and both Joe Giuliano and Meghan herself. Of course, people can see resemblances anywhere when they're looking for patterns. But the online community discussing this theory seems convinced.
ladies and gentlemen, Royal watchers and truth seekers, welcome back to the channel. Pour yourself something.
They've identified meaningful connections. But consider what this scenario would mean if any of these allegations had substance. We're talking about a complete life transformation. Meghan allegedly moving forward from this entire chapter, continuing with her Northwestern University plans, and never publicly acknowledging this period again. No visits, no contact, no gentle check-ins with someone who would theoretically be her biological child. Just a clean transition and a completely fresh start, moving forward.
She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with...
The timeline calculations that these online researchers keep emphasizing is what really captures their attention. If these claims had any basis, and if this alleged child was born in 1995, that person would now be approaching 30 years old. And according to the most recent discussions circulating in these communities, this individual has allegedly already started their own family. Which brings us to the most remarkable part of this entire online theory. Now let's examine something that online researchers have been discussing for years.
That information came direct from Meghan's ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, via an intermediary.
Questions about Meghan's documented timeline that have sparked debates across internet forums. Her official records show a 1981 birth year, but according to various online investigators, some older alumni records and event programs allegedly reference different years, 1977 or even 1975. What's got these internet theorists particularly interested is how these alternative birth years would align with the other theories we've been discussing. If Meghan was actually older, as some online speculation suggests,
there was one man who saw the real Meghan, not the PR version. His name? Trevor Engelson.
Only person who can.
Then the Vegas marriage claims and the 1995 timeline would fit together much more neatly from a chronological perspective. But the document discussion doesn't stop there. Online researchers often point to Archie's birth certificate, which reportedly underwent modifications that palace officials acknowledged. Initially, according to media reports, it listed Rachel Meghan Markle, then was later amended to Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Palace representatives explained this as routine administrative updating.
What if Meghan Markle's entire royal fairy tale was built on a lie, and now her own ex-husband has the receipts to prove it?
But internet theorists suggest this demonstrates how official documents can be modified when necessary. Their argument, if records can be altered in modern times with media attention, it would have been much easier to adjust academic records decades earlier with less public scrutiny. Some online researchers also claim there are questions about Northwestern University enrollment dates and graduation timelines that don't align perfectly when examined closely. Universities deal with administrative errors regularly. But the people analyzing these details suggest
Trevor Engelson finally speaks, reveals Meghan abandoned 21 years secret daughter with father Thomas Markle.
The pattern is worth noting. According to these internet discussions, if someone had the resources and motivation to manage official records, there would be precedent for making adjustments when circumstances required it. And all of this background becomes particularly relevant when you consider what these online theories suggest happen next. And here we arrive at the most striking claim circulating in online communities, a theory that would completely reshape how we understand Meghan's current situation.
Hold on to your parkas because now picture this scene. Meghan posts her typical birthday tribute on Instagram.
According to these internet discussions, if the previous allegations had any validity, Meghan wouldn't just be a duchess or actress. She would allegedly already be a grandmother right now, in 2025. Let's examine the timeline calculations these online researchers emphasize. If the 1995 birth theory had any basis, that alleged child would now be approaching 30. And according to recent online speculation, this individual...
Hold on tight, because tonight, the man Meghan Markle left behind breaks his silence, and what he reveals may...
has reportedly already started their own family, which would theoretically make Meghan a grandmother while publicly maintaining her image as a modern mother to young children. The contrast would be remarkable according to these discussions. Picture palace PR teams trying to manage headlines about the Duchess secretly being a grandmother while marketing herself as a relatable mom to Archie and Lilibet. Internet researchers suggest this wouldn't just be a media challenge, it would represent a complete image management crisis.
Information came direct from Meghan's ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, via...
Online theorists often point to what they observe as Meghan's careful separation from extended family members. According to their analysis, this distance isn't just about privacy. It's allegedly about preventing certain stories from reaching mainstream attention. Some online researchers have even claimed there were alleged visits to the Montecito property, though these remain unverified forum speculation. What fascinates internet investigators is the timing element. According to their discussions, information from decades past...
Hold on to your parkas, because now, according to bombshell reports circulating through multiple media outlets,
tends to surface at inconvenient moments. And if there's substance to these long circulating rumors, the online community suggests maintaining silence becomes increasingly challenging as the supposed individuals involved seek answers or connection. The question these internet theorists keep raising: how do you maintain a carefully crafted public image when the most significant chapter of your alleged past involves family relationships that have never been publicly acknowledged?
This might be the biggest royal bombshell you'll ever hear, and it's coming straight from Meghan Markle's ex-husband, Trevor Engelson.
Now let's examine something that becomes apparent when you look at Meghan's entire public trajectory: her approach to managing information and controlling narratives. According to online observers, every aspect of her public image appears to be carefully curated, from interview responses to social media presence to even seemingly casual moments in Montecito. But according to these internet theories, this level of management might stem from something much deeper than typical celebrity privacy preferences.
Can mommy have a sample of this?
Can mommy have a sample of this?
Yeah, definitely, by all means.
The online community analyzing her behavior patterns often points to what they describe as meticulous attention to detail when it comes to family information. According to their observations, Meghan has maintained notable distance from both her paternal family members and, significantly, from people who knew her during earlier periods of her life. Internet researchers suggest this separation isn't coincidental. It's allegedly purposeful. Consider the people who've been kept at distance, according to these online discussions.
He looks permanently, unbelievably miserable. So one of them isn't telling us the truth.
Her half-siblings, her father, childhood friends who might remember different versions of events, and notably anyone connected to the time frames we've been discussing. Online theorists argue this pattern suggests someone who understands that certain individuals possess information that could challenge official narratives. But here's what these internet researchers find particularly noteworthy: the alleged vision board revelation that's been circulating in online communities for years. According to these discussions, someone close to Trevor Engelson,
in a dramatic turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and the royal family alike, Meghan Markle suffered,
reportedly revealed that Meghan had Prince Harry's photo on a vision board before they ever met. If accurate, this detail suggests what online theorists describe as strategic planning rather than spontaneous romance. The management element that online investigators keep emphasizing extends beyond just family relationships. According to their analysis, every major life transition appears to involve creating distance from people who knew previous chapters. The move from Northwestern to Hollywood, the transition from Trevor to royal life.
Trevor Engelson, Meghan's ex-husband, exposes sealed medical documents from their divorce. Documents that reveal
Even the step back from royal duties. Each phase allegedly involves leaving certain individuals and their potential stories behind. But according to these internet theories, there's one type of information that even the most sophisticated image management can't fully handle: family relationships that were established before the public persona existed. Online researchers suggest that if any of the allegations we've discussed had validity,
She mailed her wedding ring back. No call, no goodbye, just a FedEx envelope, like returning an Amazon order.
these connections exist independently of current image management efforts. The online community discussing these theories often raises a crucial point. What happens when careful management meets situations that can't be controlled? According to their speculation, if there are indeed family relationships from earlier periods that have never been publicly acknowledged, those individuals have their own choices to make about privacy and disclosure. And according to these internet discussions, that's where carefully constructed narratives become fragile.
I watched every episode of the Meghan Markle Netflix show, so you don't have to. Now, a lot of people made a big deal about Meghan correcting Mindy Kaling on her.
Because unlike staff members, business associates, or even former partners, alleged family connections can't simply be managed through agreements or arrangements. They represent relationships that, if they exist, operate on their own timeline and carry their own potential for eventual public emergence. Which brings us to the ultimate question these online theorists keep raising about what might happen if any of these long circulating allegations ever moved from internet speculation to mainstream media attention.
Destroy any evidence. Trevor Engelson ends Meghan Markle's fake life with hidden tape.
So here's what these online communities keep returning to. The idea that information, especially information involving family relationships, has its own natural progression that operates independently of anyone's desire to keep it private. According to internet researchers discussing these theories, we might be approaching a phase in this alleged timeline where maintaining silence becomes increasingly difficult. The online theorists analyzing these claims often point to what they call the generational shift.
She's the most greedy woman in the world. 3 divorces, $100 million in profit. Yes, we're talking about...
According to their discussions, if any of the family relationship allegations we've covered had merit. We're now dealing with individuals who are adults making their own decisions about privacy, disclosure, and family connections. Internet researchers suggest that unlike the alleged arrangements made decades ago, current circumstances involve people who can't be managed or influenced by external parties. What's got these online communities particularly focused on timing is the natural progression of family dynamics.
She's been married 3 times, and one of her husbands was even a British prince. She made at least $100 million just from...
According to their speculation, if the 1995 birth theory had any basis, we're now looking at an alleged family member who's reached an age where questions about identity, family history, and biological connections naturally arise. Online investigators suggest this represents a period where information becomes much harder to contain. But the timing element that internet researchers find most noteworthy involves what they describe as the generational continuation. According to these online theories, if the alleged individual has indeed started their own family,
Meghan Markle is one of the most famous people around.
as recent speculation suggests, this creates entirely new considerations around family identity and heritage that previous arrangements couldn't have anticipated. The online community discussing these possibilities often raises scenarios they find compelling. What happens, according to their speculation, if an alleged grandchild begins asking questions about family history? What occurs when medical forms require family background information?
This is why Meghan Markle's new Netflix show is getting so much hate.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has...
How do you explain family heritage when significant relationships have allegedly never been publicly acknowledged? Internet theorists also point to what they observe as increasing media attention around Meghan's background, particularly as her public profile has grown. According to their analysis, the more prominent someone becomes, the more thorough the investigations into their past tend to become. Online researchers suggest that information which might have remained private in earlier decades.
My gosh, I work so hard and I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
Becomes much more likely to surface in our current media environment. The most compelling aspect that these internet communities keep emphasizing is the idea that, unlike business relationships or partnerships, alleged family connections operate on emotional and personal levels that can't be addressed through typical management strategies. Online theorists suggest that if any of these relationships exist, they carry their own emotional significance and natural progression that exists independently of public relations considerations.
This is huge. Harry and Meghan are leaving the palace to become financially independent.
According to these online discussions, we might be entering a phase where decades of alleged privacy meets the natural human desire for family connection and understanding. And if that intersection occurs in the public eye, internet researchers suggest it would represent a moment when carefully managed narratives meet circumstances that operate beyond traditional influence. So here we are after exploring years of online speculation and internet theories that have been circulating across various communities.
Meghan Markle, yes, she isn't the typical royal, yes. She isn't the typical royal. What we mean is...
We've examined claims about Vegas chapels, timeline gaps, alleged family relationships, and document questions that online researchers have been discussing. Whether any of these internet theories have merit is something each viewer will need to evaluate for themselves. What's clear is that these online discussions represent how people analyze public figures and question official narratives in our digital age. From Trevor's alleged knowledge to supposed missing years, from document modification theories to alleged family connections.
Meghan Markle's first husband, he was a TV producer. His name was Trevor Engelson.
Internet communities have created an alternative timeline that challenges the standard story about Meghan's past. The most interesting aspect isn't necessarily whether these theories are accurate, but what they represent about celebrity narratives and public personas. According to the online researchers we followed, information tends to surface eventually, especially involving family relationships that operate beyond typical management approaches. If any of these long-circulating allegations had substance,
I'm thrilled that my husband is able to join me here this time.
we'd be looking at a carefully managed public transformation. But that's speculation, until these online theories move from internet discussions to verified information. They remain forum debates and conspiracy theories that have captured certain communities' attention. That's where I'll wrap this exploration of internet theories about Meghan Markle. If you found these online discussions intriguing, hit that like button. It helps when covering topics mainstream media avoids.
Christine was her very first boyfriend. They were both only 13.
Meghan began dating Joe Giuliano, and the couple got...
Subscribe for more investigations into theories people discuss online, and turn on notifications because I've got more celebrity conspiracy theories coming that'll make this look mild. Drop a comment. Do you think there's truth to what these online communities discuss? Or is it internet speculation? And in our digital age, can public figures keep major life events completely private anymore? Thanks for this deep dive into internet conspiracy discussions. Keep questioning everything, and I'll see you next time when we explore another topic that'll leave you wondering what else might be hiding in plain sight.